Fireside Tales. Hello. I'm Merlin, Mililli. Welcome to my fireside, where I tell weird tales within tales, and I drink coffee. I drink coffee from my skull mug because I'm a deadhead. And every week here at Fireside Tales, so far, I have told the story of the Grateful Dead, as it was told to me by a deadhead, by a fire. So every week I've also been discussing reincarnation. One of the reasons why I tell the story of the Grateful Dead is because it's a story about reincarnation. Some people disagree. It's fine, they could disagree, but it's a story about reincarnation. I also have been discussing my book in the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records are it's a meditative library where every soul is said to have a book. Bear is giving us lovely sound effects. Bear, maybe you could not lick yourself right now. It's my dog. Today is the International Day of Peace. This won't air on the International Day of Peace, but I've had a little trouble zoning in my peace today. So the Akashic Records are a meditative library where every soul is said to have a book. My book happens to be big and old and dusty and has a lot of lives in it. Some of which are rather long. At the beginning, there seems to be, my first few lives seem to have maybe lasted thousands of years each. I know it seems weird, but there's this watermark in my book. It seems to mark when time changed from BC to AD. I think there was some recorded history before but it was wiped out by a flood, a great flood. And after this is what we call AD, or recorded history. But it's funny how everyone in the world was able to restart on the same year, isn't it? And we just called it BC and AD. That's something that happens after you actually record it, isn't it? It wasn't the way it rarely is described, because I happen to be living and on a boat when this great flood happened. And I remember looking out on all this water, where I remember there being a continent. Well, I remember there being England and Ireland, and looking there and seeing just water. And I ended up in that life in Scotland, where a lot of people ended up, because it was the only thing sticking out of the water. The tippy tops of the mountains. I bet if anybody wants to go to the tippy tops of the mountains in Scotland, there's evidence of a lot of people arriving there. Right around when recorded history started. Anyway, what I've been discussing all of this season has been my very first life in my book in the Akashic Records. And I was a girl named Little Flower. I was a Mayan. And I have been discussing Little Flower every week here at Fireside Tales, at my fireside, so far this season. We've discussed fire safety. I'm here in California, in this life, in this body. I'm in Mount Shasta, California, and we have a lot of fires happening right around us. It's September and dry, and though we did just get some rain, so thank God for that. And I was praying for it, so really thank you, powers that be, that made that happen. It rained here at my place, and it snowed on the mountain. I actually wrote a song called Snow on the Mountain, and it says I'm praying for snow on the mountain and rain at my place. I like my snow on the mountain. Right at my place. This is sage. I've also discussed sludging and grounding. Had a little trouble getting my groove on. I had to ground to ground today. It's the International Day of Peace, as I said. Happy International Day of Peace. I wished people happy International Day of Peace and put up a version of Cat Stevens' song Peace Train, done by Playing for Change, which is a bunch of different musicians interacting with Cat Stevens online, use of Cat Stevens. And so I posted in a bunch of different places and said Happy International Day of Peace. And this one post, this person, I think they probably meant well, but they just didn't understand what they were saying. But someone posted just one word, and it just messed up my whole day. just the word awesomeness. And most people think they understand what that means. They think it means awesome. And it does not. It actually means quite the opposite of awesome, where you think awesome is good, it's cool, it's awesome. Awesomeness is not that way. You could use the word awesomeness in reference to Putin's awesomeness or Mother Nature's awesomeness. I tried to explain this to my friend a long time ago online, and the next day she poo-pooed me, and she kept using the word when I asked her not to, and she died. I'm not even kidding. She died the next day. I don't believe in coincidence anyway, but that was just too weird to not think, whoa, that's awesomeness. Wasn't good. It's not good. It's never good. So don't use that word unless you are referring to Mother Nature's awesomeness or Putin's or something like that, but not in reference to the International Day of Peace. As a psychic, it just gave me all these horrific visions, and it was just horrible, and I didn't care for that. So don't use that word when you don't know what it means. And just don't use that word. It's just unnecessary. It brings havoc. It's bad. So I really had to shake it off today. And I really want to do a guided meditation for you today. So I really had to work to get rid of that funk. And I'm better now. So grounding is something I like to do before I do any meditative exercises, before I do any readings. I read tarot and runes. I try to smudge, not catch myself on fire. Please don't. I have water in my kettle. I have water in my cauldron. I have water in my sprayer. Please be safe. Have only safe fires. A bucket of sand and a shovel will also put out a fire. So if you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have water or access to a lot of it, a bucket of sand and a shovel will put it out. Most cases. If it's small. And you should always put your fire out. Never leave it unattended. So, grounding. You want to blow out all the negative energy. Till you feel your gut go in. Blow it all out. And then think a positive thought. Think about someone you love or something funny. And change all that negative into positive till you're also breathing out positive energy. And it's hard for some people to detect, but if you can't detect that, maybe you shouldn't be meditating or using tarot yet. Maybe you're just not ready. Anyway, I think everybody is ready. You just have to wrap your head around it a bit. Timing is everything. So, I'm going to tell the story of the Grateful Dead, like I said, as I heard it from a deadhead by a fire. I think we even had coffee. Once, long, long ago, there was a traveler. So long ago that she traveled by foot, barefoot even. And the traveler suddenly happens upon this scene of havoc. People squabbling and arguing and bickering over a dead man's body. Traveler is taken aback and a little disgusted. So she tells the townspeople, stop arguing. I will pay the dead man's debts. The townspeople were arguing over the dead man's debts and who was going to bury him and who was going to pay for that. So the traveler just wanted it all to stop. So she said, I will pay the dead man's debts. I will pay for a proper burial. She did. She prayed over his grave and she traveled on. Till one day, decades later, when she probably had shoes, she was in a life or death situation, and out of nowhere, this stranger just scoops her up and saves her life. The traveler says, thank you. Who are you? Where did you come from? Why did you save my life? And the person says, I am the Grateful Dead. So it's the traveler from the beginning of the story, at the end, whose life is saved. Some people think it's a corpse that saves her life, but it's not a corpse. Corpses don't save lives. It is a dead person, but it's not a corpse. They're reborn. Reincarnation is not zombies. It's the body dies and the soul continues on in a new baby body, which then grows or doesn't. I mean, depending on the life of that baby. And then, there's a theory. I happen to also be a psychic and a medium. I have these threads throughout my lifetimes of things that carry over, and the psychic medium thread is something that runs pretty strong through each of my lives. Even if I didn't understand it or know it, I'm pretty sure I was a psychic medium in each of my lives. And on the spiritual front, there is a theory that if a person is reincarnated, if a soul is reincarnated, that soul, that person has been murdered. If you get murdered, you get to come back. That's how they explain how it works. The spirits do. I know it all sounds crazy and it's all weird, but that's what we do here at Fireside Tales. We get weird. So another one of my threads, obviously, is meditation. And last week I discussed meditation, and I sort of accidentally did a guided meditation. So I thought this week I'd do a purposeful guided meditation. And I've been promising that I would do a guided meditation for meeting your spirit guides. And so this is how I met mine. And I discussed last week that I read later, after this form of meditation had been introduced to me, I read later that it was, in fact, to meet your spirit guides. So I got this from a friend who guided me and a group of other people through this meditation a long time ago. And I've since obviously been back, and I visit with my spirit guides now without really having to think about it. But this is where I started. Okay, so you should get comfortable. If you're going to do the guided meditation, you should make sure that nothing is on fire, and it would be safe and comfortable for you to fall asleep if you fall asleep. Allow yourself that if you're going to do the meditation. So I'll give you a few minutes to get it together, and you should ground. So blow out all the negative. Think of something positive. Give yourself a nice positive meditation, and smudge if you can, if you have it. Smudge your aura if you have it. Smudge them if you have them. Okay, so yeah, you want to make sure nothing's on fire, and I'm not going to do the meditation. I'm just going to guide it. So my fire is okay. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. You make sure you're not going to catch fire while you meditate. Okay, so, you should probably be barefoot. I'm barefoot. Just for this, purposefully. So, you want to picture your childhood closet. Get comfortable. Close your eyes. And picture your childhood closet. Open it. If it's closed or blocked in any way, reach through it. You'll find it has no back. Now step through it. And your foot lands on old, dry wood. A bit further along, you walk along the wood, and there's a spiral staircase, an old wooden spiral staircase going down. Descend the staircase. When you get to the bottom, you'll feel warm, dry sand on your feet. Walk a few steps along the sand, and you'll feel water on your feet. When you feel the water reach down, and you'll feel a boat. That is your boat. Only your boat. Get in the boat. It's there just for you. It's been waiting for you. See where the boat takes you. You can wake up simply by opening your eyes whenever you're ready. I'll wait for you to go on a bit of a journey. So, I do want to discuss my life as Little Flower for a little bit this week. I really wanted to get in the guided meditation. I hope everybody who found it enjoyable, and you can get there anytime you want by going through your childhood closet. You don't need me to get you there. I didn't need anybody to continue on finding my spirit guides. Eventually your boat turns into your spirit guides. Or your boat is always your spirit guides. So okay, so meditation, like I said, is the thread that runs through all of my lifetimes. And it was not lost on Little Flower. Little Flower, I mentioned last week that she was a teacher, but this was thousands of years ago, and there was no classroom, there was no building, there was no math, there was no science, there was really mainly what Little Flower taught was meditation. Did you know that ancient peoples meditated? There is my peanut gallery today. I think I have some thunder going on outside. It's interesting. Hopefully it doesn't catch anything on fire. Lightning strikes really are kind of a problem out here. I wish they would always have rain with them, because then they're okay, but if they don't, they can be a little dangerous. So thank goodness ancient peoples meditated, because if they didn't, we wouldn't have found math and science and literature. We wouldn't have found these things. Music. I wrote a new song. Every week I've been singing David Crosby's Deja Vu because it's the only reincarnation song I know of. And but now I've written a new song. It's called Before, and I'm going to sing it, and I'm going to keep my lyrics handy because I might need them. It's new. But I lack Looking back of me, what I lack, memory of who I was before. Then I opened the door and I found out who I'd been before. Who I was, when I was, where I was before. I opened the door to find it there no more, no more, no more. Before. So that was my new song, just for this show. It's not on an album yet or anything. Doesn't even have a plan to be on an album yet. It's just before. That's my reincarnation song. I do have an album that just came out September 1st, and that's called Enchanting, and that is available on YouTube for free. It's a video album. You can watch and listen at the same time, and it's all one sort of solid, fluid piece of art. And I have another album coming out that I'm in the studio working on now, which is out October 1st, and that is called Potty Mouth, and that is all of my songs with swears in them. I may leave out one song because it's already on an album. So not sure about that one. But most of my songs with swears in them. And then November 1st, I have another album coming out, which is called Sound View, which is about where I grew up and when I grew up and how I grew up. Those are not quite video albums. They won't be one solid piece of art like Enchanting is. So Enchanting is out October 1st. Potty Mouth comes out, and November 1st, Sound View comes out. So if you're collecting, collect away, and all of them will be available in some form, some, physical form like CD or DVD on my website, merlinmililli.com. So that's Merlin, like the wizard, no space, Mililli, Mililli. So this is my enchanting, excuse me. I said it right the first time. Enchanting is my 17th solo album. So Potty Mouth will be my 18th solo album. And Soundview will be my 20th solo album. So it's a lot of solo albums. I actually wish I had some musicians to work with, but people don't want to work with me. I think it's my Native American roots. Even when I didn't know I was Native American, I think I was shunned by other musicians because I am, and it was obvious to them. I didn't know until I was a full-fledged adult that I was Native American, so I didn't really understand the discrimination I was getting, but I got it anyway, all the same. And a lot of people feel that I would bring them down musically, or they just outright don't want to work with me because I'm a Native American. So I have some trouble with that because culturally I'm a Native American, and this is my music, and I don't feel I should be poo-pooed or considered less or wrong, or I think I'm more and right. But that's my opinion, I guess. So if you don't mind working with Native Americans and you're a musician and you want to work with me, I could always use help. So, and I play well with others, so I can jam with other people. They just don't want me to. So, I guess that's it for me today. I think I covered everything I'm supposed to cover. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Have a weird and wonderful weekend. A Mililli Studios production.